Using Screenfeed and Signagelive, you can now display posts from your company's LinkedIn page on your digital signage. Let's talk about it. Social media plays a huge part in how we go about our day-to-day lives. And as businesses, LinkedIn is a place where we often put our professional best foot forward. So why not show this off on more than just your phone screens and on a digital signage screen? With Screenfeed's new LinkedIn for Digital Signage app, you can create dynamic feeds that you can set and then forget. And what's great about this is that these feeds will update on your screens automatically every time you post new content on your LinkedIn page. And this is a great way of always keeping the content on your screens fresh, especially if you're regularly active on social media. If you have access to Screenfeed's social bundle, then you'll already have access to this LinkedIn app. But otherwise, you can buy this as a standalone app from the Screenfeed website. But without further ado, let's see this in action. So here we are on the Screenfeed website, and I'm just going to log in now. So here I am in my Screenfeed account now, and these are all of the feeds that I currently have access to. Like I say, I already have the social bundle, so I'm already going to see LinkedIn in here. If I search for LinkedIn like so, you can see I've got LinkedIn feeds available. I've actually already created two, but we're going to make a brand new one today. And I can do that by hitting create a feed. And from here, if you're a Screenfeed user, then you may be familiar with what we're seeing right now. As with other Screenfeed apps, we get to select our delivery method. In our case today, we're going to do HTML, but if you want to deliver this as a direct URL or a JSON or XML file or an MRSS feed, then you can do that as well. Scrolling down, I get to pick the resolution or the shape of the feed. You get some great options here, and you get the option of displaying this in 4K as well. In our case today, I'm putting this on this Sony screen behind me, so I'm just going to leave this in 16:9. And now we scroll down to the account management. At this stage, it's worth noting that you can only display feeds from your company pages. You wouldn't be able to do this from your personal LinkedIn account. So just bear that in mind when you're setting this up. So like I say, I've already set this up on my account, so I actually have two feeds already available. But if I want to add a new one, I just hit add or refresh LinkedIn. And when I hit that button, I'm going to be presented with this dialog box, which will prompt me to log into LinkedIn. However, what I really love that Screenfeed have done here is they've also added an easy authentication method. And what that means is that if you are not the primary owner of the pages that you're trying to display, in my case I happen to be, but if you weren't, what you can do is come out of here. If I go back up to integrations up the top here, and if I scroll down, you can see I've got LinkedIn here already, and you can see all the different LinkedIn accounts we've got activated here. But let's pretend that someone from my company managed the pages that I wanted to add to this LinkedIn feed. And because of that, I couldn't log into my LinkedIn page because I wouldn't be able to see any of the posts of the pages that I want to show. So you can create authorization links. And what that allows you to do is create a link that you can send to someone else, and instead of prompting you to log in, it will prompt them to log in. So what they can do is then log in and authorize access, and then once they've authorized the access, you can then see all of the pages that they've given access to here in Screenfeed. So to do that, we would scroll to the top here, we'd hit add integration. You can see we've got LinkedIn down the bottom here, and I'll just do authorize link. And here what I can do is generate a link. So this is a link that I can now send to someone, which will prompt them to log in. And I can copy the link manually, or I can email it directly to a contact from here. Once I do that, they'll be given the link, they can log in, and they can choose what pages they want to provide access to. And then you've got access to that page without them having to give you their password. It's a nice little feature, but like I say, for today, I don't need to use this, so I'm actually gonna go back to where we were before. So I'm back here, and I have a choice of two different Signagelive accounts that I have access to that I can choose to display the posts from. Now in my case, I'm gonna do Signagelive Explored. I'm gonna hit include, and immediately I should start seeing a preview down the bottom here. You can see that this has pulled a recent post from my LinkedIn page. And from here, we get our customization options. So you can change the font of the text that appears here on the left, and as we're updating this, we're actually getting this preview update in real time, which I think is a really nice touch. I'm going to leave it in Montserrat because that is actually our branding font for Signagelive, so it's kind of convenient. You can choose how many posts you want to display, and in our case, it's displaying this video post that I did here a few days ago, and it's showing the relevant text for that as well. But if I wanted to up this and show two posts on a single slide, I can do that as well. You can see we're getting these video previews in real time. Any videos that are attached to posts that are under 20 megabytes will show previews like you see here. If they do happen to exceed 20 megabytes, you'll see a preview that looks a bit like this, and it will just show the video thumbnail. We get some additional controls here, so we can change the background. We can put some nice designs here. So you can see I've got dots or shapes. You can see that's changing the background where the text is. You can change the colors here as well. So in my case, I'm going to put this to a nice Signagelive blue, like so. You can add a call to action, so I can put follow us, and that will appear at the bottom there, as you can see. I could change the background on that as well if I want to. You can change the intro text here as well, so you might have noticed when I originally ticked this earlier, so if I do that again, you'll see we get a latest posts message there. I can change that to whatever I want. So I can just put welcome, for example. If I untick that and then tick it again, you'll see that when that feed initially loads, it shows that message. And again, we can further customize this. We can hide reactions to posts. We can hide the time of the posts. We can hide the video content if we want to as well. So you can see if I hit hide videos, it's going to disable the video playback on the feed there. It will still show the text for that post, but it will just pause any videos there. This is a great option if you've got a lower performing player or something that isn't quite as powerful and you don't want to run it to the ground with heavy intensive HTML5 content. You can then disable some of the animations and the videos just to make it easier on your player. So you can see you've also got disable animations here, and that's the animation going from post to post as well. So we can disable that if we want to too. It's also worth noting that here we are actually seeing primary posts only. So these feeds will never include any reposts that your page does. If I hit require media here, what that will do is that will filter out any posts that don't have media on them. So if I did some text only posts, it would filter all of those out and it would only include the posts that have videos like you see here. And like I say, this preview here has given us a real-time view of what this is going to look like when we generate the URL at the end of this process. Scrolling down further, we get more options to customize this feed. We can filter how many posts we're pulling into the feed. So for example, I could set this to only display items that are created within the last 7 days, for example. If I do choose to do that option, you have a fallback text here in case you happen to have a quiet week and you don't post anything in 7 days. So instead of it going blank, it's going to go to this fallback message here, and that will be displayed in the instance where you don't have any posts available within the window that you've set up here. How many items do you want in the feed? That's going to be how many total posts that you want this to cycle through. As you can see, if I scroll back up here, this is actually displaying most of the posts that are available on my LinkedIn page here. I can also switch this to 6 posts as well. Then you can have 6 posts visible at once. And how long should each item be displayed? This is how long each post will remain on screen. By default, this is set to 10 seconds. I'm probably going to leave it at 10 seconds in this case. Screenfeed is software agnostic, so the fact that you can go back and customize these feeds like this really lends itself to that statement. In reality, providing that the player you are publishing this content to supports HTML5 content, you should be able to customize this in a way that will work for that player. Scrolling down to the bottom now, finally we get to name our feed. So this is just the name of the feed in Screenfeed. So I'm just going to call this Joe's Test Feed 2. And I'm going to hit create feed. And now that's going to give me a URL, which immediately I can open up in my web browser here. So if I open this in a new tab now, like so, you'll see this loads up straight away. And it's much like that preview that we were seeing in Screenfeed earlier. So now we have this URL when this feed working, we can now jump over to Signage Live and publish our LinkedIn content to our Signage Live player. So I'm in Signage Live now, here's my network. I'm gonna go over to content, playlists, create and edit. I can now hit the blue plus over at the left here, and then I can add a web page asset, which is what we're gonna be using today. I'll paste in my link here for my Screenfeed content, and I'll give my feed a name. So I'm just gonna call it Joe's Test Feed 2, once again. Hit save, and now if I head to my recently added, in a few moments I should see my thumbnail appear here. And you can see we've now got a thumbnail for that feed there. If I double click on that, you can see it's giving me a preview. And now I can go ahead and drag this into a playlist, set my duration. So I'm gonna add my duration as, let's go 30 minutes because I want it to be the only thing on screen right now. Okay. Hit save, call this Joe's LinkedIn feed, hit save, and now I'm gonna get this published to my player. So while we wait for this content to download, it is worth noting that you can also buy Screenfeed bundles and their individual apps directly from Signage Live now. So if you wanted to add more social media content to your digital signage, it's definitely worth checking that out. You'll also get all of these Screenfeed products at a discounted price when purchased through Signage Live. And this is in light of the new Signage Live and Screenfeed partnership that was recently announced. And after a few moments, you can now see that my Screenfeed content is now displaying on the screen behind me. But there we have it. We have our company LinkedIn posts on our digital signage. Screenfeed have tons of social integrations on the way, including TikTok and Blue Sky. So grabbing any of the Screenfeed bundles is a fantastic way to have access to an array of professional looking content, just like this LinkedIn app and all of those that are yet to come. If you want to learn more about Signage Live and Screenfeed, head over to signagelive.com/Screenfeed today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.